VR, a way out, a way into another world or life, such as being a professional race car driver, being in a zombie apocalypse, military, or a murderer, or visiting places you normally wouldn't be able to. That's what makes VR so popular, and with devices such as the Oculus Quest 2 being so affordable, from small indie games to sometimes full-blown AAA games, it's no wonder VR is taking off the way it is. I mean, come on, put me in Skyrim and slap on Rick and Higgs, and I think I might have a problem. Well, what about Star Wars games? Well, VR has got you covered there, and with it being May 4th, why not? Well, you have Blatant Sorcery with its Outer Rim mod. You can visit places such as Tatooine, Felucia, Camino, to name a few places. They are taken from the original Battlefront 2, and it is definitely one of the better Star Wars VR experiences, despite it only being a mod. From being able to customize lightsabers with kyber crystals, to blasters, and being ambushed by Jedi, Sith, bounty hunters, it's definitely fun to play. But what about official games? Well, there's Tales from Galaxy's Edge, but I don't have the one, but what I do have is Vader Immortal. Exclusive to the Quest, it's a 3-episode game where you take control of an unnamed character who is a descendant of a woman named Lady Corvax. Her deal is that her husband died in battle and she tried to revive him, but she failed, and in doing so, she turned Mustafar into a volcano wasteland. So now Darth Vader wants to try doing that, and he uses you to try to find the Bright Star to cheat death and revive Padme. But there's a shadowy figure telling you to stop Vader, because if you don't, will drain the life force of every living thing and planet in the galaxy. It's pretty cool, especially the beginning part of the game, because it feels like you're actually there, or like you're on Rise of the Resistance. It gets even cooler when you get your lightsaber and actually start fighting, though it makes you wonder why there's just a random green lightsaber just sitting there in Vader's fortress. Well, episode 1 is pretty slow. It mostly just introduces you to the mechanics, characters, and plot. You know, the usual exposition stuff, but not much really happens here, apart from learning how to use your lightsaber and deflecting blaster bolts, but man, you really get a sense for how tall and intimidating Vader is when you're standing right in front of him. But episode 1 ends with you fighting with Vader against robot guardians, and him revealing that you have the Force, and that he's going to train you, but he ends up taking away your lightsaber. So in episode 2, you get to use the Force, and it's really fun because you can just grab things out of midair, or pick people up and slam them to the ground and fling them into other enemies or slam them together. It's like Force Unleashed VR light, because the combat with the lightsaber is pretty limiting, because you can't throw your lightsaber or even move with the control stick while in combat. You have to move your feet, and I don't have nearly enough room to do that. And you never actually kill a stormtrooper by cutting or slashing at them with your lightsaber. It's always by using the Force, deflecting blaster bolts, or holding another stormtrooper in front of another one that's already shooting to kill them that way. But if you're crafty enough, you can kill them with your lightsaber. So, Vader trains you on how to use the Force, but soon after, a Rancor comes in and separates you, and it starts chasing after you. It's pretty tense, not gonna lie. And it even jump scares you, but this is where the fun begins, because after escaping the Rancor, you get attacked by sentries, and here you're able to ragdoll them around with the Force. This is a really fun way to fight, and really makes me want to see a full-blown Star Wars game in VR, similar to Blatant Sorcery. The Force just feels so smooth and fun to use. After destroying the sentries, you come across a shadow figure again, and he tells you that he's actually Lady Corvax's husband, and that he's stuck between planes in existence of being dead and alive. So that wouldn't be good for Padme if Vader tries reviving her. And then you find a new lightsaber. It's blue this time, and you start fighting even more sentries. I'm not that good at combat though, so I got hit a few times, and the battles probably went on a bit longer than they should have. But you end up getting the Bright Star, but Vader quickly gets his hands on it and betrays you. And then the Rancor from earlier comes back, and you have to stand your ground and fight it this time. It's okay, the best part about it is killing it when you throw sharp rocks into it with the Force. And that's where episode 2 ends, and now we go into episode 3, and it's easily the best episode. Right at the beginning, you take control of a sentry army, and they follow your every command and attack wherever you're pointing at. And you even take down a few stormtroopers with them too. And then you get on a transporter, and then you get ambushed by stormtroopers, and then you have to fight them off. It's another cool set piece because you can deflect the blaster bolts or lift up a stormtrooper with the Force and throw them into the pilot so they all go down at once. And you can even pick up an E11 I'm not accurate with it at all, and you can't reload with it though, but it's nice to have, and you can always pick up another E11. And then you have storming Vader's fortress, and you fight even more stormtroopers there, and you even fight and destroy a TIE fighter and AT-ST while your sentry army is fighting down below you. It's just really cool. And then you make your way to Vader, who's in the process of trying to revive Padme, and then the Bright Star starts draining the life force out of everything, even you. But with Vader being so close to his goal, he starts fighting you, and I was getting wrecked. I could not block any of his hits, but you can't actually die, so I guess that was pretty good for me. But regardless of whether you block his attacks and fight back or just get wrecked, Padme slowly starts to appear in spectral form, which causes Vader to throw you aside with the Force, but right before anything else could happen, she disappears. He failed. So, in anger, he blames you and starts attacking you, and he even takes your lightsaber away with the Force, which is a really huge insult if you didn't know. But right before he kills you, Lady Corvax's husband pauses time, something he showcased he could do earlier, and since he pauses time, you're able to get your saber back and destroy the Bright Star, which also destroys your lightsaber and Vader's fortress. And now with the Bright Star being destroyed, Lady Corvax's husband is finally able to pass on, and Mustafar is able to start rehealing himself and start supporting life, which is why it looks like that in episode 9, and Vader also disappears. Seriously, I looked back and I couldn't find him at all. And then the game ends with you and the droid you've been with the whole game going on a new adventure. And that's it. Vader Immortal is pretty short. The 3 episodes aren't very long. Episode 1 will take you around 38 minutes or so, while episode 2 will take you around 30, and episode 3 will take you roughly around 40 minutes or so, rounding out to about an hour and 40 minutes. So it's basically a playable movie, but it's still pretty fun, and you can even go to a training dojo where you can practice. In episode 1 it's blaster deflection, episode 2 it's using the Force, and in episode 3 it's a combination of both. It's alright. But Vader Immortal is still really fun though, especially in relation to the Force powers and the lightsaber. The lightsaber is just really fun to swing and spin around, and deflecting blaster bolts feels really good. It really makes you feel like a Jedi. In all seriousness, it's good. You have to be pretty accurate and precise with your movements. Or you can just spin it around like how they do in the prequels, that'll work too. The story is full front and center here, and it's pretty good. It pulls stuff from the Vader comics, and it feels like you're playing through one too. And it kinda feels like Star Wars, but at the same time, it kinda doesn't, so it's a little weird in that aspect. Well, for characters, you have your droid. It's named ZOE3 or Zoe. She's played by Maya Rudolph, and before looking it up, I thought she was voiced by Emily Rose, who voices Elena in Uncharted. They just sound really similar. And then you have Steve Bloom, who voices Admiral Carius. His voice is always distinct, so it's pretty easy to recognize whenever he's playing someone. But since he voices Admiral Carius, the beginning part when you're sneaking through the fortress after escaping from the prison cell feels a bit like Star Wars Rebels, so that's pretty cool. And then Darth Vader, he's voiced by Scott Lawrence, who also voices him in Fallen Order, and he does a really good job voicing Darth Vader. He sounds really similar to James Earl Jones. Vader Immortal is a really cool game that you really need to experience for yourself. Watching it online really doesn't do it any justice because while in a headset, you get the scope for how big everything actually is, especially Vader himself. All 3 episodes cost around $9 each, but they're frequently on sale as a bundle for around $14.99, so you're basically only paying for episode 1 and half of episode 2, while getting episode 3 completely for free. So I would say it's a pretty decent deal if you're interested. Well, while you're here, why not subscribe? Because I have a lot more videos lined up that are set to come out this month. They might be Star Wars related, or they might not. It is May after all. Please, I never do this, but my channel has been popping off recently, and I'm getting desperate.